Hi and welcome back to the channel. My name's Dr. Ash and today we're going to be talking about revision timetables. When we're revising for exams, we spend a disproportionate amount of time on strategy and planning, and actually it ends up going to waste as we have to kind of redo that plan every few days. So if you're currently procrastinating from exams, at least you can rest easy in this video that I'm going to teach you something that flips the standard way of doing it on its head and teaches you a way to save time and be a lot more effective with your revision. Because when I was in medical school, I used to do a prospective timetable, which is where you plan things way into the future of exactly how you're going to perfectly execute your revision plan. But when I went to medical school, I found a new way to do it, which is considerably more effective and makes the whole process of revising significantly less stressful. So this video is going to go in two main parts. The first thing is I'm going to show you the standard way that people arrange their timetables and then talk about some of the flaws that are involved with that. And then I'm going to show you the alternative, which is a much more effective way. And I'm going to show you how you can make your own version of this type of timetable. So prospective is looking forwards and retrospective is looking backwards. So the prospective timetable usually goes something like this. We are here today and we have an exam, say in 6 weeks, and then we just map out exactly what we need to do and how much time we're going to spend on each subject between now and then. So for example, you might say on Monday I'll do biology, then Tuesday I'll do chemistry, and so on and so forth. You might even go into more detail and plan it to the morning and the afternoon, even down to the hour. Now this seems nice and it makes you feel good when you write out a plan like this because you assume that you're going to get it all done. But in reality, you're asking yourself to predict the future and assume that you're going to be correct with your time allocations. Not only does it take probably at least 50% longer than your predicted estimate to actually go through each subject, but it also assumes that all subjects are equal in level of complexity and they all need an equal amount of time. Because when you think about it, studying isn't necessarily a time in equals knowledge out equation. We've all had it where we've got one concept that's really complicated and it takes us 2 hours just to get that one concept. However, with other subjects, we can whiz through an entire module in maybe a couple of hours. The other problem with making timetables like this is that it doesn't account for any unexpected disturbances. So if something comes up that disturbs that timetable and knocks it on by a few days or disrupts it somehow, it then suddenly becomes really stressful or really time consuming because you have to rip up that draft and start it all over again. And I found that at medical school when I first started, I was literally spending so much time just on strategy alone that it was ridiculous in the sense that I could have spent all that time just studying and doing the stuff that actually mattered. So this way of timetabling basically all centers around time as the factor, whereas the way that I'm going to show you now actually focuses on the subjects and the actual topics that you need to do as the main focus of how you arrange them. The other element of this is that we actually rank the topics by how well you know them and feel that you understand them, so that we can prioritize the ones that you're weaker in and then keep the ones that you've got more locked down on autopilot. So this is something that we call the retrospective timetable, and I'm going to show you now exactly how we do it. As I said, it's a function of topics rather than time, and I'm going to show you how you lay it out according to the topics that you need to make sure that you've covered. So let's say, for example, we're studying biology A-level and we're doing biological molecules. The first thing we need to do is make sure that we identify all the key topics from that subject. So the first stage is to take all of the topics and put them in the first column. Then the next thing in the second column is we put the dates. Then let's say it's the 15th of April and we cover our very first subject. What we do in the first column is we put the date that we covered that, and then we color code it according to how easy or difficult that we found it. So I do red for very difficult, yellow for medium, and green for when I feel like I've got it well covered. Then the next day we might come along and do a different subject. So we might have found that very difficult, so we'll color it red, and we might have one subject that we find easy, so we label it green. So then after we've been through a few of the modules, we have an idea of what we found difficult, what we understand well. So then when we come back on the 18th, we're going to decide which subject we're actually going to cover the second time. So usually what we'll do is pick something that we've found the hardest. So in this instance, we'll go for lipids and make sure that we cover that again. So then when we go through something a second time, we might turn it to yellow to show that we've understood it a bit more. And then after we've gone through the highest priority one or biggest difficulty one, we'll then pick the ones that were of a lower priority. That might mean, for example, that we take one that was yellow, or maybe we'll take the yellow one that we did the furthest away in time. It's important to note as well that when we're coming back to do our second pass, we're not just rereading the exact same notes that we did last time, because that would be a bit of a waste. We're doing active recall like we discussed in my previous video here, where we're actually just asking ourselves questions and attacking the material in a different way to make sure and test our understanding of the subject. So this way, this tactic is going to guide us as to a function of what's the most important thing and the subjects that we're struggling with most. So when it comes to the exam, instead of just spending an even amount of time on all the subjects, regardless of how difficult they are or how well we understood them. We're actually going to prioritize the ones that we're having difficulty with and make sure that we leave everything on our timetable green so that we've got a good level of understanding by the time the exam comes around. So this is a much smarter way of working when it comes to revision and exam timetabling, because not only can we encourage ourselves by seeing the progress that we're making, but we can focus on our areas of weakness and make sure that we kind of bring everything up to scratch for the exam. So I recommend that you have a go at this, try it yourself, and you'll see just how significantly less stressful exam timetabling will be. And also you're working so much smarter to kind of make sure that you bring everything up to scratch evenly, and that will definitely improve your exam performance. This is just one of the 5 key principles that I think are essential to performing well in exams and scoring highly. So if you'd like to see the other 4, I made a video here where I highlight the 5 core principles of effective study and performing well in exams. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in that next video.